So we got 7 minutes. I didn't even prep slides. Now, I could show you how we go from a 10x developer to an NX developer, but we don't have enough time. So my name is Juri. I'm a core team member of NX. You find all info on nx.dev. There's a lot of stuff that we do from local development to CI, so we have a lot of support. What I want to focus a bit, or show you basically rather, today is a bit like the NX release command that we just kind of pushed out half a year ago, roughly, to the public. And it's basically about publishing NPM packages. So I have here a local NPM workspace. So if I go to the package JSON, you can see here there's an NX version installed. There's an NPM workspace set up in packages and examples. And if I actually run NX graph, which by the way you can run in like any workspace, even if you don't have NX installed. So it will analyze your workspace and show roughly like how the structure looks like. And that is kind of inspired a bit by Tanstack query, which by the way uses NX to develop their software, their packages. So I hope Dominic doesn't watch because like there's no logic behind here. But I kind of want to show a bit like what it means to version, generate change logs, and publish these type of packages. Because there are solutions out there, but usually they lack a bit when it comes to a Monorepos setup. Because clearly you have some dependencies there, right? Especially if we talk about versioning, but even in the publishing process, like if we push out these packages to NPM, we don't want to push out a package, like we want to push them out in the right order, because we don't want to have a package end up there, your network goes down in the middle, and then like you end up with a dependency that is not out published yet. So how does it work? Basically, you can run a single command, which is NX release. This is our first release, because we don't have one yet. And then you run -d, which is actually a simulation mode. So I just want to do a dry run to see what would happen. In this case, it just goes through the packages that you have. Yes, we want to release a major version. As you can see, it kind of prints out kind of a diff what would happen. So it increments the version accordingly. It also updates local dependencies that you might have in that workspace. And it generates a change log if a change log needs to be generated. So basically, I can just go and drop that -d, run again that major version, and we'll go ahead and create that. Now, the first step down here, it asked for publishing. Now, I don't want to push that out on NPM. But what we can do here is I have set up a local Verdasho NPM registry. And you can do that. We have basically a generator that helps you set that up. So if you run NX setup Verdasho, it would create that for you. And so now we can just run something like local registry. Typing with this inclination is actually pretty interesting. And so this would be our local Verdasho. I removed that immediately because it's pretty bright. But now this runs now, it rewrites all my local publishing, and so I can actually just hit through, and it would then deploy this to this local Verdasho instance. In fact, if I go back, you can see the actual packages pop up there. Now, clearly, in a real-world scenario, you don't want to actually go and every time manually specify what version you want to increment, whether it's a major or not. So there's the possibility in the NX JSON here to kind of configure some of that. And so I can go ahead here, for instance, paste in, let's say, December. Actually, let me go in here and do paste. Oh, where's it going? Let me type it out then. It's gonna get. So we have like version, and you say like semantic versioning, conventional commits true. And so in that case, I can go to React query, for instance. Let's say in here, we have some small logic that we want to implement. Console log. Yeah, exactly, that works. And so we say, like, there's a feature, React query, something like that. And now if we run NX release again, just run it through. It automatically detects this is like a minor update we make. So the version, the new one that would get bumped is 1.10. And we can again obviously say we want to publish this. And we also get here now a change log at the root that is kind of in this representation. Now there's some more options that you can configure there. You can kind of define what is the actual project relation in here. So is it like something that you want a fixed versioning, so all the packages are incremented at the same time? You want to have independent versioning, and also things like you want to have GitHub releases at the same time being pushed rather than just NPM. So here, for instance, this is from our own NX repository on GitHub. So this would be the format that you would see then on GitHub, where obviously, as you would be like expecting, you see the commit link. You see at the bottom also a link of the contributors for that specific release. So they get tagged, they get informed. It's also pretty nice, like in the open source community, to make sure that those people are informed. And you can even do more stuff in the sense of having grouped releases, which in a monorepo is pretty interesting. So in the sense that in this case, for instance, we have, if you look, more React-related parts. We have a solid in here, some solid-related parts, and more core parts. So you could even go ahead and say you want to have some sort of release groups. Let me see whether the snippets work this time around. Yeah, they do. So you could say, I have groups where the solid includes these type of projects, and they should be versioned in a certain way. And so you can kind of independently version them and push them out. So these are some of the monorepo features that we implemented in that NX release version. It is right now one of the packages that we support is like JavaScript, but like you can extend it on your own. It's the general versioning and publishing process. So we even have one for Rust, and it can be extended to other languages as well. There's a lot of the features and stuff that I showed you today is like on our docs. So there's like a managed releases in general, which has a walkthrough video. And as well down here, you see a bunch of different recipes for kind of customizing and automating releases, obviously on your CI system, how to do npm provenance support, and those type of things that you would want to have like in an open source package publishing way. All right, that's it. That's all I can show you so far. We're still outside of the booth, so if you want to check that out and come by and dive a bit deeper, happy to answer questions. Thank you.